self-serving, persuasive talkers
of everything and nothing. We are Conversation Con Artists. Welcome to the maiden voyage. I am Calamity Red.
I'm Mr. On Point.
And we are Conversation Con Artists. And this is our very first episode. Yay!
Woohoo!
Basically what this is going to be is us coming through your speakers every week to just, bullshit about life and love and celebrities and politics and just all manner of things. So, yeah.
All kind of stuff.
All kinds. So, let's get started. How are you doing, Mr. On Point?
I'm good. How you doing, Red?
It's been a long week.
Yeah, a long week for everybody.
Yeah, I think so. So basically, the show will have, in the beginning anyway, we'll have two parts. The first part of it is going to be unnatural selection. And basically, we're just going to talk about, a couple of celebrities who's... The
other side of it is going to be deliberate nonsense, which may on the surface seem like it's very important and things that we should all know about, but... Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, no. So for this week in Unnatural Selection, I want to start off with a very hilarious and semi-disturbing story. I don't know if you saw Trick Daddy do his interview on The Breakfast Club this week.
I did not.
Okay, so Trick Daddy has lupus, which is terrible and sad.
Okay.
But... he doesn't take his medication. First of all, he looks like death. Let me just say that. Like, he always was...
Trick Daddy looked like death when he came out.
So imagine him looking worse. Like, imagine what he looked like when he came out and add, like, a really serious illness on top of that.
I got a side note for Trick Daddy. I'm sorry. I don't know if you knew, but he has a crew called the Eat a Booty Clique.
He discussed that as well.
Okay. I know Charlamagne the God wasn't finna let that go.
He discussed that as well.
Okay. I just had to bring that up.
He did.
Okay. You can continue about the situation.
So he has lupus. He doesn't take his medication for it because he has decided that the best treatment for lupus is Hennessy and coke-laced marijuana, which is called like bunk or something.
Bunk.
Sounds terrible, doesn't it? And so that is
Trick
what
Daddy
he is
from Florida.
doing. He is from Florida. That's what he's doing for his lupus.
That's ridiculous.
Like, do you not want to live? You know how serious of an illness lupus is, and people who actually take their medicine are still sick as fuck, and you take a Hennessy and marijuana laced with coke?
Well, I know some people with lupus, and they're riddled with pain constantly. Mm-hmm. So their medication is to manage pain, but they've also let me know that there is a scale on which lupus lies. So some people don't experience the way that other people experience it.
He looked like he experienced it in the worst way possible.
No, he looked like he experiencing Hennessy and coke-laced marijuana all day long.
That too.
This is a way of saying I'm an addict, but I'm going to, justify it using some other means.
He looked absolutely terrible. And when he first came out with that whole eat a booty shit, I'm thinking, who the fuck? I don't want you anywhere near any part of me at all. Trick Daddy looks like he has every disease known to man. Every one of them, just all in one body. What? No.
But to be fair, I'm sure he was born looking like that.
That is that makes
unfortunate,
it sadder.
But it's fair. It's a baseline. It's a baseline now.
Oh, God. That's just one of those faces only a mother could love. Like, he just looks awful. He always has. Like, he always looks dirty. He always looks just bad. And he looks even worse now. The lupus is not, like, treating him well.
You're right. Because, if I saw somebody like Trick Daddy, like, at nighttime, I think that I was going to be robbed, murdered, in the least ask me for a cigarette.
Let me get a square. You got a square on you?
Let me get a square. I love Trick Daddy first album, Thug.com. I used to love that album.
My knowledge of Trick Daddy is very much like mainstream. So all of the songs that were like Trick Love the Kids, all of the ones that were like really popular, because I'm not really a fan for real.
I don't even know why I liked it. I was young and other people liked it, and
that's enough of a reason.
Exactly.
Right
I mean, I had a limited selection of things to listen to and environments to get music from, so I was kind of limited to the people around me, because in my house it was just church music, gospel,
Yeah.
So whatever came.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, and I give music now a lot of shit, but like sometimes I listen to shit that I like that I'm like, why? Like, remember Ha from Juvenile? Have you ever listened to that song? Like now? That is the stupidest shit. Like it makes
I listened to
no
Juvenile
sense.
400 Degrees recently. It is, I want to say it's amazing, but it's more nostalgic.
That is exactly what it is.
Just like everything from my childhood, where we say, well, when we were young, old people used to say, well, that stuff y'all listening to stupid. Well, I'm saying that Waka Flocka is stupid, but I'm supporting No Limit, and No
Make
Limit.
them say,
like
what?
Don't get me wrong. I reflected on my time of listening to No Limit, and it was terrible music. I mean, great music, nostalgia related, but when I say that these rappers don't rap about anything, well, Mystical and Master P, they didn't rap about nothing but drugs, murder, and sex.
But I guess, because we do that now, and our parents did that, and the kids now do that with whatever bullshit. I don't even want to know what's going to be out when the kids now are adults. But I think when you're in it and you're listening to it, it's amazing. So then, like, it's going to always be amazing to you. And then anything that comes after that, it's like, this is bullshit. But then if you go back and listen, it's the same way with, like, all of the shows that we used to. I used to think Power Rangers was amazing. Have you ever watched that shit, like, now? The worst fucking special effects ever. They had sparks. They have on spandex. Where are the sparks coming from? Like, it doesn't make any... But as a kid, that shit was amazing.
It was.
I was the Yellow Ranger because I was a tomboy and I didn't want to be pink because that was too girly. I was the Yellow Ranger and we used to play Power Rangers all the time. It was amazing. We'd be out of the yard flipping around and shit with sticks. Like but looking at it now, I'm like, why did I like that shit? Like,
well, Power Rangers forcing me to bring up two things. One, it forced me to bring up the racism in the initial Power Rangers because the Black Ranger had to be black
and the
Yellow
Chinese
Ranger,
girl,
that had to be Asian. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's terrible. And the second thing is, my mama wouldn't let me and my brother watch Power Rangers. We snuck and watched it sometimes, but she wouldn't let us watch it because Lord Zed, his body was made out basically with just skin gone. That's what his body looked like. She didn't like that. She thought it was like devilish or something.
Okay.
Look, and one time we were in PE, and instead of doing physical activity, we were in a room. It was something happening. It was some kind of important trial. Anytime it was, I know this now in hindsight, anytime it was an important TV event going on, the coach would put us in a room and go watch TV somewhere. I found this out later. But they put Power Rangers on. They put Power Rangers on the TV. And a friend of mine said, Eddie can't watch Power Rangers.
I can't stand when kids do shit like that. Like, who ate that? Whose business is that? Like, sit your ass down. What do you need to tell them that for?
Yeah, this same gentleman later came to steal my Super Nintendo out of my house. So needless to say, the definition of friend is vague here. But a bully, took up for me for some reason. I don't know why.
Maybe he just didn't like that kid.
Maybe he didn't. I took it as a win for me.
Good. He should have got in his ass. I hate when people do shit like that. Who asked you? That's not your business to be spreading around. Can't stand that shit.
Exactly. We got way off of Lupus.
We really got way off of Lupus.
And Trick Daddy.
And Trick, and I think because only so much can be said about him. But speaking of ancient business and just being ridiculous, LaToya, Lil Wayne's baby mama, I hate that. The mother of his child.
One of his
children. So she was on a show called Untying the Knot, with her husband. I think they're still married. Memphis. Oh God, I don't know.
I don't know. I wouldn't say his name anymore after this. If I
Yeah,
have to.
after this conversation, it will never be said again. And but she gives him 8 hall passes a year to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. And so, of course, because Black Twitter is beautiful, they drug her ass. And she responded, because somebody was like, how, you don't need to be teaching your daughter that the way you keep a man is by letting him disrespect you. And Toya responded by saying, I'm not trying to teach my daughter how to keep a man. I'm trying to teach her how to be an independent Black woman. Bitch, well, like how are you giving her stepfather 8 passes to cheat on you, showing her how to be like this proud, independent? Like, that doesn't go together. Like, you're allowing him to be disrespectful as shit under the guise of, if I let him do this, I'll have him for the rest of this time. Which I seriously doubt. If you say, hey, you can cheat on me 8 times, but that's it. No more than 8. That is it. That it will be just those 8 times. I just don't believe that'll be. I don't believe that he'll be like count down like, damn, I only got 1 more time this year. It's early. I gotta save that last time to the end of the year. Like, I just don't see that happening.
I feel like she could have phrased it in a way that made it okay. She could have said, we have an open relationship in the public in which we do our own thing. She not did anything and still told him, this is what the public, you got 8 times. Like, she could have phrased this in a way in which it would have been more accepting. We would have been more accepting of the situation. We would have been like, oh, okay, they got an open relationship, blah, blah. But when the relationship is closed, but you let this person out of the relationship from time to time to do what they're going to do, the way we perceive that is, you're not smart.
Not at all.
And that's a polite way of putting it.
It is. You're a dumbass is like the actual way. Like, and I just, you're raising a young lady. And so every time I see stuff like this, I always want to ask people, is this what you want for your daughter? Because what we see when we are growing up, you're more likely to repeat that. Now, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to. You can change the things that you see when you're growing up, but it's a conscious decision to do so, right? Because it's easier to fall into those patterns than it is to go against the grain. What you are presenting to her, like, is this the life that you want for her? Would you want her to be with somebody that she's going to have to give 8 hall passes to deliver? And the answer usually is no. So it's not okay then. Like, if you wouldn't want it for her, then it isn't okay for you. It shouldn't be.
To be fair, I think that she probably has a significant amount of relationship deficits because she's Lil Wayne's daughter.
Yeah.
And just because this is the first time we known about her mama doing some crazy stuff, she probably do crazy stuff all the time.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for her.
Especially at the point where she's concocted that the way that she keep a relationship is to let this man have 8 hall passes. Like, what happened in the relationship in which hall passes wasn't acceptable? Like, was it just a bunch of fighting and cheating? And the way to avoid the fighting is to just let them cheat?
That would be my guesstimation. I think it's just easier or you feel more in control in a situation in which you have no control. It's that illusion, right? I'm telling him that he can do this, so I'm still in control of the situation because I'm giving him permission. So it's still within my control. Well, it's really not. It's an illusion.
I still maintain my perspective that it's a trap. Regular men, I say this before, regular men, if you are presented with this opportunity, you don't take it. Trust me, just don't take it. You can if you want to, clearly. But I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Yeah, I would be nervous about taking it as well, because I would feel like you would do it, and then it would be like, I knew you.
Exactly.
That's what you wanted this whole time. You were just waiting.
But women don't play with men like that either now. You're going to find out something you don't want to find out.
Yes.
You're going to find out that your man would take the bait.
Yeah. It's really sad.
Very sad.
Just people's perception of things and the things that we can trick ourselves into believing is amazing to me. Like, the lengths that we will go to make something okay for ourselves, it's just amazing. Instead of rectifying the situation, I'm going to twist this in such a way that I can make it okay. Because a relationship is something that you walk the fuck away. Like, this isn't something that you have to have, right? I don't want to be with somebody. If I have to give you this room to cheat on me, we don't need to be together, because obviously you got other interests that you need to go pursue. I'm not going to stand in your way. Please go pursue, but you're just not going to be with me while you do it. But I guess if I was the kind of person who just had to have, like, I guess you're going to do whatever it is you need to do to maintain what you feel like you need to have. I don't feel like I need to have a relationship. They're nice, right? Yeah. It's like ice cream. I can't have ice cream.
Which is unfortunate.
And Mr. On Point knows this is a sore spot for me, because it's delicious. And there's no reason why I should have to be punished with lactose intolerance and not be able to have ice cream. I don't have to have ice cream. It's not something I have to have. Obviously, I can live without it, but it's good and you like it. I don't die from not eating ice cream. I kind of look at relationships like it's wonderful to have, right? And you want dessert with your dinner. That's the goal. You finish dinner to get the dessert. You're not going to die if you don't have it, though.
Yeah.
It's not absolutely necessary. But Toya has to have her ice cream. Absolutely. She'll go through that pain to have it. She has to have it.
I like to call it relationship integrity. When you have a certain standard in a relationship and you maintain that standard consistently. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like you just don't have any relationship integrity if you are willing to go through all of these links to keep somebody in your life.
Yeah.
Even though there are things that on paper you're not supposed to accept.
Yeah.
You know, those are things that if your friend told you they was finna do this, you'd be like, girl, you don't need to do that. You know, I mean, yeah. You would the things you're supposed to tell people.
Yeah.
You know, that you shouldn't do. You know, you shouldn't waver from that. You should know exactly what you want from a person and hold them to that standard. And if they leave that standard, then you leave them.
Yeah.
You know,
but you have to know that you deserve to have that. You get what you think that you deserve.
Yeah.
You know, and what you'll get what you're willing to accept. And speaking of things that people deserve.
Oh no.
Jared Fogle.
Oh.
The Subway guy.
That guy.
So this guy. So Jared, I don't know how you could not know. Jared has, been molesting kids, teenagers. And he had his trial. He is asking for leniency in his sentencing because his victims were older, right? It's not as bad as somebody who molests a 5-year-old, right? He feels like because his victims were teenagers, the judge should just give him 5 years as a punishment because it's not as bad as, if he had messed with somebody that was 5. And to Mr. Fogle, I say, sir, you can go fuck yourself. Like, you talk about justifying your actions. Like, it's not that bad. She was 14. That's not, and she wasn't 4. So, 5 years, plenty of time. Like, really? For real? You had the balls to, request leniency in a child molestation case? Like, what?
Is it just me, or did he just always, he looked creepy?
He did look creepy.
It's not like you look at him and say he's a child molester, but once you find out he's a child molester, you're like, it makes sense. Look at him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, he's
that guy. He's creepy.
He's very creepy.
And a better defense would have been, Judge, do you eat subs? Like, how many have you eaten in the last month or two? I'm the face of that. I was the face of that. But when everybody thought I was a good guy, I was the face of that. So that's why you should give me leniency. Subway, subs, you eat them. That would have been a better defense.
It really would have, as opposed to saying, well, my victims weren't really victims because they were older.
Yeah.
What? So basically, you're saying that these girls had to, they knew what they were doing. It's okay, Judd. Like, it's fine. It's not really a crime. Like, they should put you underneath the jail. You are a sick person.
I mean, you
And he obviously, you're not sorry. The fact that you're trying to justify this and like get leniency for yourself, you have no remorse for what you did. He probably doesn't even feel like it's wrong. And when he gets out, he's gonna probably continue that shit.
He's not gonna get out.
Well, yeah.
Alive.
Oh yeah, they don't do that child molestation
no.
shit in prison. That's right. They even have their own little code of morals in prison. Yeah, they don't play child molestation. So
do you know how many foot-long jokes he's gonna have to deal with?
Oh my God. Did you see the memes when that shit first came out?
I did. It's ridiculous.
About all the prison jokes? Yeah.
But memes didn't come with rape. Like, he's finna go and those jokes are gonna be, they're gonna have a complimentary rape package with it.
Basically. Yeah, it's gonna be real sad for Jared, but I find it very hard to feel sorry for him because that's just, people who mess with kids are just a special kind of evil. Kids and old people, anybody that is unable to defend themselves, like, you're just such a fucked up person for that. Like, it's awful.
It's terrible.
He's just a terrible person. Speaking of terrible people, well, yes, terrible people. Russell Simmons. Have you heard about the Rush card fiasco?
Not very much.
Okay, so Russell Simmons has a Rush card, which is a card for people who have, credit issues or whatever the case may be, and they can't open up an account with a bank. They get the Rush card and they load it with money and they use it like a debit card or a credit card for, sometimes if you're paying online, you have to have,
some kind of card, yeah.
So, and because of the fact, one, that it's Russell Simmons, and two, because of what it is, most of the users of this service are lower income African Americans. Well, there was a glitch in the system, and people were unable to access their money. Some people, it was only a couple of days. Others, it was a few weeks. And for somebody that has like no income, low income, that's a long ass time not to have your money. Like, that would be a long time for me not to have access to my motherfucking money. Like, I would have been upset about that.
Yeah.
Like, I wish Regions would. Like, try me. Like, every time I slide my card and there's money in there, it better go through. Like, that's your job. That's your only job, is to make sure that the money that I have entrusted to you is available to me when I get ready to use it. So he's been getting a lot of shit about that. The response to it when it happened wasn't very good. Like, his response wasn't the response that it should have been.
But he's like, my bad.
I mean, basically, like, it'll be okay. Yeah. We'll get to it. Basically. And of course, Black Twitter, because Black Twitter is awesome.
Oh, Lord.
Went in on him. Because he does this thing where he, like, every day he, like, tweets out these inspirational little, sayings or whatever. And so Black Twitter got a hold of it. And so one of his inspirational sayings was, without passion, nothing is worth doing. So somebody retweeted this with the comment, without their Rush card, nothing can be paid for.
Oh, man.
And there was just a whole list of, like, tweets about this. And it was hilarious. They drug him, as they should have.
If I was ever a celebrity, the only thing I would be scared of is Black Twitter.
Black Twitter's, look,
they take the smallest, minute details of a situation, of your life, of anything that you've ever done, put it under a microscope and make it hilarious. And at the cost of you. It costs you whatever, your dignity, your fame, whatever, it's costing you something, depending on what's important to you.
And they're so creative. Like, I wish I was as creative as Black Twitter is. Black Twitter, like, and they so quick, like, the memes and shit, as soon as something happens, they dropping memes, they on it. Like, yeah, it's amazing. Like,
it's like, that's all up and down your feed. Like, so many people.
It's so funny. Like, they're amazing with it. But yeah, so that's what happened with Russell Simmons. And then the last thing that I have that's happened this week is Miss Vivica Fox. So I hope she was drunk when she did this and her allegations that 50 Cent is gay. And then his response. 50 Cent is petty as shit. Let me just say that.
50 Cent been petty.
He been petty. And that's why I say Vivica Fox must have been drunk. Because if you're gonna like try to go toe to toe with somebody, it don't need to be 50 Cent. Cause he petty as shit on a regular day when ain't nobody even talking to him. Like, you don't even have to be directing shit at 50 Cent for him to be petty. So for you to like come for him and think that he not gonna get you back, like, it makes no sense. Like, she accused him of being gay, and then he came back and was like, you know, she's just bitter. And she's just angry because she was eating my booty or because she ate my ass. Or something to that effect. And it's just like, Vivica, girl, like,
You've been out of the loop too long. Like, I don't know if this is an attempt to get back on top somehow, or 50 Cent's the wrong one.
He really is. Like,
he got Rick Ross' baby mama on a porno tape. Like, 50 Cent don't play. Like, I don't know where he gets stuff from. I saw that he released like a drunken rant that she was doing. I didn't watch the video.
Yeah, I haven't watched that either.
I mean,
like,
Vivica Fox just don't interest me at all. So and
I've never really been a fan of hers. Like, I'm trying to think of something that she's done that I liked, and nothing comes to mind. Like, I know she was in Two Can Play That Game. I wasn't really that big of a fan of that movie. I think she was in... Shit, I don't know.
She was in Independence Day.
Oh, she was in Independence Day. I didn't really care for her in that. She was in Why Do Fools Fall in Love, the Frankie Lyman story. I can't really think of anything that she's been in that I was like, damn, that Vivica Fox is a great actress.
What's special about Vivica Fox?
Well, and now, I don't know why people... We age pretty gracefully. You know, if you just allow nature to take its course, take care of yourself, drink plenty of water... You know, I guess it's the melanin that helps. We age pretty gracefully if you just leave shit alone. But these women, like, want to get a jump on the aging process, and what they end up doing is just fucking themselves up beyond recognition. Like, Vivica Fox has had so much work. Her face is pulled so tautly that it's shiny. Like, it's just too much. Like, just let getting older is a part of life, because, you know, the alternative is dying. I'd rather get older than die.
Yeah, I would.
That's the only way you're going to stop the aging process is to die.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not that big of a deal, but they try to get a jump. Little Kim was, like, pretty, and then now she looks like an Asian mermaid. And because she just kept doing the plastic surgery, like, leave it alone. Let it be. Like,
an Asian mermaid.
She does look like an Asian mermaid. Have you seen her lately?
I don't know what I mean. So it's a regular mermaid.
Yeah, but she don't look like a regular mermaid. She looks like an Asian mermaid because she's had everything. Again, it's pulled so tightly.
Yeah.
It just looks terrible. Like, Vivica Fox looks terrible, and she should have thought twice before she came for 50 Cent, because he's like the king of petty shit. All day. He'll do it all day.
I'm not a big fan of new 50 Cent. I like old 50 Cent. Like,
before he became petty.
Yeah, I mean, he had been petty. I believe he's been petty since he was born. I think he has a platform for pettiness now.
He does.
Yeah, I used to like 50 Cent before his first album. Like, all this mixtape stuff and his first album. Love all that stuff, but it kind of, maybe just my taste for rap kind of started falling off. I hated that song. Absolutely. But I like the rest. I mean, I like the whole album as a whole work of art, but, you know, I think that's just when my taste for rap kind of started falling off. Yeah. Anyway, and then his pettiness was put on a bunch of platforms, so I was like, I don't really care for people that are petty like that. Like,
super petty.
So that's why this whole situation just really don't resonate with me. Between Vivica and 50. Vivica, who are you? 50, you've been petty.
Yeah, I mean, most of the things that I know about is because people decide to put it on my timeline on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it just comes through. Because, otherwise, I don't even really honestly listen to rap much these days. The older I get, the less inclined I am. So Even if he was still making music, I probably wouldn't be listening to it anymore anyway. So
You know, I listen to rap that I hear in Vines. Either because it's contextually appropriate for that particular Vine and I want to see what the song is about.
Yeah.
Or it just sounds catchy from that
Yeah.
point. That's the only time I listen to new rap. Anything new.
It's just, it's like they don't try, like, and people gonna probably have a problem with this. I don't understand why people like Fetty Wap. And the reason why I say that, every song that I've heard, because I haven't listened to the whole album, every song off of his album that I've heard sounds like the remix to Trap Queen. Like his cadence, like what he says, all of it is extremely similar. Like all of it just sounds like a continuous. So like I feel like if I played the album back to back, I would think it was just one long ass song. Like it just, the melodies are similar. Like it all just sounds the same to me. Like I hear a song and it just all sounds like a remix to Trap Queen.
No matter what Fetty Wap was going to do after that first song, I just couldn't listen to it. Like Trap Queen is about somebody cooking drugs, as far as I know. I mean, I don't know if there's hidden meaning to it. Like, I don't know what part of the rap R&B game that you rap about something that is terrible and drug related to mean a metaphor for something that is good and positive, but if he is indeed rapping about a woman cooking drugs and being in the trap and being his queen of the trap,
it ain't no deeper than that.
If it ain't no deeper than that, I can't support Fetty Wap. I can't support anything else after that.
He's not capable of anything deeper than that.
I hate that he lost the eye somewhere along his life.
I think he was born like that. Wasn't it like a congenital?
No idea.
I think it was like a birth defect. I think his eyes always been like that, if I'm not mistaken. Shit, I don't know. I'm not that interested in Fetty Wap, to be honest. But so that's going to be all I have for our natural selection for this week. I think, it's been a week of a lot of bullshit.
Yeah. It's always weeks of bullshit.
Every week.
All the way.
Just.
But for deliberate nonsense, we got some deliberate nonsense going on. And some of it is not nonsense. Some of it is, rather important things. But, I guess it's subjective depending on who you are listening to it. But, the first thing that has been going on is situation at Mizzou.
Oh, Mizzou.
You know anything about what's going on?
I do.
Well, it started with basically a bunch of things happening on campus. You got a lot of students putting up swastikas and things. They having protest rallies. Planned Parenthood came onto the campus and Planned Parenthood was finna remove their support from the campus, or the campus was finna remove their support from Planned Parenthood, one or the other. And a bunch of students, did not like that, and it turned into a somewhat racist, protest.
Yeah.
I don't want to say racist. That takes it to the extreme. I just think it's probably had a certain type of overtone in it when it comes to people that agree with one thing and another group of people that disagree, and it turned into a situation. And a lot of students was reaching out to the president to handle these situations appropriately.
As he should fucking do.
As he should. Like, it should be a way to deal with racial tension on a campus.
It's your job.
And one student, I'm not going to use names because I'm bad with names and I don't want to say I'm wrong, but one student, he went on a hunger strike. He said either the president is going to get put out or I'm going to die. Starvation. And he basically went on a hunger strike. And the president still maintained that he was not going to resign. He was like, oh, okay, whatever, die.
Didn't really give a shit.
You know.
Go kill yourself is basically.
Exactly. I mean, because that's essentially what he said he was going to do if you don't leave.
Yeah.
Shortly after, other students started, like silent protests started happening over the campus during his hunger strike. Then all the black players on the football, not all the black, but some of the black players on the football team.
The good ones.
Yeah, I mean, they went on strike.
The ones that matter.
But then it turned into 100, and then the whole football team. And then the coaches, I think they tweeted that they supported the football team and they stood by the football team. And they were about to cancel a game. And then they called an emergency meeting, and then the president.
Because they can't have that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
you know how much money football makes for schools?
A lot of money.
That's
a lot of money.
And that's the thing that I feel like when you really want to hurt an organization or you really want to hurt, like, it's money. Money is the thing that matters the most. Like this kid going on a hunger strike and potentially getting seriously ill. He wouldn't have died, but he could dehydrate, all kind of things. We don't give a shit about that. but you start fucking with our money. But they're gonna have to cancel a game. Oh, we can't have that. So now we're gonna give. We're gonna do what we should have done in the beginning.
Yeah.
It should never have come to a point where you have to have an entire football team step down
and the
say,
entire campus.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it shouldn't have. It never should have come to that point. Like, there's no reason why.
And subsequently, because the president stepped down, because of a lot of different students of different races, but mostly the black population, threats came from different places. I think the main app was Yik Yak. Yik Yak?
The fuck is Yik Yak?
I don't know. Some app that is along the stray of probably similar to some app that everybody uses, but not quite. Somewhere where you can post stuff where you don't think people are going to catch you.
Yeah.
And a couple of students made threats to the black student population, and on Twitter it started talking about killing black people and stuff, and it just turned into a situation that should have never escalated to the point of a whole group of people on the campus having to stand up, because they should have ways that they appropriately deal with, racial tension on the campus outside of just brushing it under the rug. You know what I'm saying?
And they should have been it shouldn't have just bothered those students. Like, swastikas being around, that's a problem. Like, that's something that should be addressed. That shouldn't be something that you have to wait until somebody comes and say, hey, this offends me. I don't like this. Could you do something about it? Like, it should have been something that was on the radar anyway. Like, you should be paying attention so that it doesn't get to a point where it's like such racial tension and such a problem.
Exactly.
But if you ignore shit, things don't go away because you ignore them. They have a tendency to get worse.
Yeah. I just think it's unfortunate that, you mentioned the money, is that the money part is really kind of what fueled
That's
them
what it
moving.
was.
Because,
Yeah.
It could have been, hey, you aren't handling these things right. You need to start handling them differently. But at the point that a student says, I'm going to die or you're going to be removed, how long has it been going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, we just get the timeline starting when, we see and things start to be reported. But how many things do you experience on your college campus in which you say that I would rather die, than to have these things continue under this person that it's been under, you know what I'm saying? But the effects of that is that it creates some racial divide in the country. It's like white America thinks that, all these students are just crying for attention, that the threats aren't valid, that, it doesn't make a difference. Like one teacher, supposedly, I don't know if this story was true, but apparently a teacher sent a bunch of emails telling students that they were still going to be required to come to class because, fight the bullies. When you let the bullies win, blah, 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 blah. When a lot of people were probably legitimately concerned that if they go to campus, that if they didn't get hurt or killed, then it would at least be a very, very tense situation that can alter the learning environment.
I feel like when people do that, if I acknowledge it, I have to acknowledge that there's a problem and I don't want to. It's the same way I feel about people who have an issue with Black Lives Matter and want to talk about how it should be all. You miss the point, right? And some people I feel like they really don't get it, and some people I feel like it's that situation of, I don't want to like recognize this, so I'm just gonna like act like it doesn't exist at all. I don't want to recognize that it's not that, people are saying that nobody's lives but Black people's matter. It's saying that obviously you're not recognizing that our lives matter too, so we need to put this out into the forefront. It's not saying fuck all these other lives, the Black lives is the only one. You know what I mean? Like, and nobody ever said that that's what what it was. But this is how you take it when you don't want to acknowledge that there is a real problem in our country right now with things that are going on. Same thing with the campus. If I support this or if I acknowledge it, I'm acknowledging that this problem exists. But if I say, oh, y'all are just overreacting, you're still coming to class, fight the bullies, then I'm pushing the problem. Like, it's not a problem. It doesn't exist. This is all, I don't have to address it. I don't have to acknowledge it. I don't have to handle it. I get to just, and that's privilege.
Yeah.
That's privilege.
And, in reference to like the Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter, all lives matter. But what is questionable in it is the timing. If you had said all lives matter the day before Black Lives Matter, it would have been different.
Yeah.
But when you say all lives matter as a knee-jerk response to Black Lives Matter, then it is clearly in opposition to Black Lives Matter. It's clearly something to invalidate Black Lives Matter. And that's the problem when it comes to these knee-jerk movements after another movement. You know, it's a response. We know all lives matter, but in the way that all lives matter was used, it was used to invalidate Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And that's clearly a couple of people meant for it to invalidate Black Lives Matter. And the masses that don't think for themselves just took it as if it is, you know, actually a movement and actually something that is actually valid versus Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying?
Because people are sheep.
Exactly. Sheep, lemmings, all of that. I only know the word lemons because it was a game where little things follow you all around.
You had to balance them out. Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, I am an African American that has been to a, you know, private white institution, and not, I mean, a prominent one, like where the Black population is very, very small. And I mean, it's already tense enough in being a Black student on a campus that's predominantly white, which most, if you're not going to a HBCU, you're probably going to a predominantly white college. And a lot of them don't have a great handle on racism. Yeah. You know, I mean, clearly it's so many individuals that you can't really isolate it and target it the way that you want to, because they not running out on the field with a KKK mask saying, hey, you know, it's a lot more subtle.
The microaggressions.
Exactly. It's a lot more subtle, and it causes the problems that you don't necessarily see. It causes the problems that build up over time. And then when a big situation actually happens, then it brings it all out. And I think that's probably what happened with Mizzou. It's just a lot of little things happening. And then when a bigger thing happens, it just triggers the memories of when all of those things have been happening. And now we got to respond because we got a whole timeline of things that's been going on. Yeah. You know? Yeah. But we'll leave college. We'll leave college for a minute and go back, and we'll go to a story about some lesbian parents. Now,
because America.
Yeah, America. It's not, and the focus isn't on the lesbian part, the parents part, but what happened is a judge, I don't remember what state, basically told the couple that they couldn't have their foster child. A foster child, mind you, which means that this child was removed from their home in some kind of way. They said that, the judge said that they read some research that says that it's better to be in a heterosexual environment than a homosexual environment.
Because heterosexual households are perfect. You know,
exactly.
Nothing ever happened to her.
The finest establishment.
And the fact that he was in foster care and was removed from a probably heterosexual household means nothing.
At all.
At all.
You know, I was having a conversation with somebody about this, and I told them, if my parents, let's say if my parents had to go through the same process that gay, lesbian parents have to go through in order to get a foster child in their home, I wouldn't be here.
Neither would I.
Like, they have to have an appropriate history. They have to have appropriate living space and environment. They have to have a positive plan of how they plan on raising a child. They have to have a great job and a certain type of income. Like, they don't just give gay and lesbian couples babies. Like, they put them through the ringer. And if they put most of our parents of children, like if they put most of us through that same process, we wouldn't be here. I know that I wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't either.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely
like,
not.
So, to be real, like, fostering as a lesbian and gay couple, the way that America treats it, is kind of like they like creating a perfect environment for a child to grow up in. Mm-hmm. Like, they're taking into account all of the things that this couple can offer to this child, and they're either saying yes upon meeting all of those expectations, mm-hmm. or they're saying no. And I'm pretty sure the, you know, couples that have had no's probably ain't even that bad. I mean, because this is America, and the way that we deal with, you know, homosexuality is we're very uncomfortable with it.
It's wrong.
Yeah,
that's how. I mean, I'm not saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's wrong. That's how
it's
we deal with
wrong.
it.
And so because it's wrong, then that trickles into every little act. Since I feel like it's wrong, then that means it's going to damage these kids. It's going to completely tear down our society. Like they act like homosexuality is like the apocalypse and shit's just gonna fall to pieces because there are people out there that like the same sex, and I just don't understand. Like, why are you so pressed about who somebody else likes? What does that have to do with your own life? Like, and as far as like the kids are concerned, as somebody who's worked with kids that have come from extremely broken homes and seeing what the damage has been, anybody who is willing to give a child a good home and take care of them the way that they need to be taken care of, I say have at it. Because there's some biological heterosexual parents out here who ain't shit. They're awful. They're abusive. They do drugs. They're all of these things. Like, you're saying that this couple, their only sin, their only issue that you have with them is the fact that they're lesbian? Really? Like, so they're bad parents automatically because of that? Because that's all that it takes to be a parent, is sleeping with the opposite sex. Because that has an effect on the kid. It doesn't matter how you're able to provide for them or what you can teach them. Like, none of that matters. So I just don't. America.
I don't like it. I don't like the whole environment and how we treat people here. To act on what you say, which is, why are we worried about somebody else's bedroom and what they do in their personal life. We have to separate ourselves from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
You have to separate yourself from the Bible to be able to look at it like that. And the way
I don't
that
even think you have to do that. Here's what gets me about like super religious people. I don't even think you have to separate yourself from the Bible. The thing that people forget is that little part of judge not lest ye be judged. You do not have to agree with something. You can absolutely feel like it's wrong. It goes against your own beliefs. It goes against your own morals. That's fine. That doesn't mean you're not judge and jury. Even if you're like super religious and you believe in God and all of those things, that doesn't give you this imaginary gavel to hit and say, okay, I condemn you to a life with, no love. You can never get married, with no chance at having a family. You can never have kids. I condemn you to these things because I feel like what you're doing is wrong. It's not for you to judge. That's one of the tenets of Christianity, and yet we don't follow it.
Well, I think you get into a point where you, like what you're talking about, gets to a point where you begin to identify the way that different people portray Christianity. Mm-hmm. Because you have some people that portray the love part of Christianity, in which, it's about love, and you have some that portray, the wrath of God, you know what I'm saying? And then you have some that portray, the sins and the judgment. And I think that, I don't say you have to separate yourself from the Bible, but the people who don't separate themselves from the Bible in terms of dealing with those cardinal sins, abominations, if you will, then they can't look at homosexuality in a normal perspective. They can't look at it as a perspective as like, well, I shouldn't worry about what they do, because to them, it's a sin. To them, if I participate or partake or support that sin, then it's going to reflect poorly on me when it comes time for me to get into the gates. God is going to be like, nah, bruh. You supported homosexuality. You lived next to them homosexual people. You didn't take those kids from that lesbian couple. Like, I believe they think that like that's kind of is going to reflect on them like that.
Probably. It's just really sad. I really hate when I see stories like this, just because, like I said, I've worked with kids that have come from like terrible homes. And I know how grateful some of these kids would be to be in a place, regardless of whether it's, a mom and a dad, two moms and two dads, to be somewhere where they are actually taken care of the way that all children are supposed to be. And to be denied that simply because you don't like the way these people are living their like private life. It has nothing to do with it. And I'd love to see this research he's talking about.
That's another point I was going to make. Research can say whatever you want it to say. Anybody that does research that is looking for an answer, because there's equal opposite research on the other side that says that homosexuals have a very positive history in child rearing, in terms of the success level, in terms of their adjustment to the world and to life. Like, there is research on the other end that says that that is an appropriate environment. Well, I think it more so says that it's really not that much of a difference between a heterosexual and a homosexual environment in child rearing.
And I feel like because they're under such a more of a microscope, they're gonna like march a straighter line. Because again, you got nobody pays much attention, until some shit goes real wrong and DHR has to step in. With heterosexual, you know what I'm saying? But with them, they're under such a microscope. They're gonna walk a straighter line anyway. Yeah. Because they have to, because they're being watched so carefully. I just,
I think this judge done went and got a Wikipedia article, edited himself, and was like, I'm just going to put this up in the court.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That goes into how subjective the court system is. Like, it is just, I won't get into this now. It's going to come in the future, but it is just so messed up how subjective. Any judge can see one case. Like, there's no rules. Like, if you work in a job, when you know how to get fired, But when you're a judge, it's like you don't have that big of a guide. You have your own moral compass, and lawyers choose judges based on what they know that moral compass, usually gravitates towards. So we won't get in that now, but whatever. It's coming. It's coming. All right. So the next couple of topics I got a little bit on the lighter side, but. One of them is SpaghettiOs.
That nasty shit.
SpaghettiOs. Canned terribleness.
Death and despair. That's what SpaghettiOs taste like. It don't taste nothing like spaghetti. And the meat is like paste.
It's not even meat.
It's paste. It's meat paste. Like, it's like little ball, like...
It's probably like 5% meat so they can call it meat. And 95%, random, whatevers.
That shit is just so... My mama tried it. She tried it. She tried it. It did not work because we was like, this ain't spaghetti. I don't want this. We didn't eat it. Like, it's disgusting.
Well, what's going on with SpaghettiOs is that it's been a recall on SpaghettiOs. I mean...
Surprise fucking surprise.
And so if you bought SpaghettiOs this year and you're listening to this situation... you might want to check them out because they supposedly have some red, I think the plastic tops, they got some red. I think some of the plastic has fell off in some of the SpaghettiOs, so you got a choking hazard. So you probably don't want to eat SpaghettiOs.
If you're buying SpaghettiOs and you're listening, don't fucking buy spaghetti. Like, don't ever buy them again. They're disgusting.
Yeah, they're disgusting. Like,
don't
a choking
feed those
hazard.
To your kids.
A choking hazard is not the reason you should not buy SpaghettiOs now.
They're gross. That's why.
You should not buy SpaghettiOs because they're terrible. But so what? Like when you were little, what food did you eat when you were little that you loathe now? Like that I don't fool with now because of how prevalent it was in my youth.
I don't know that it's because of how prevalent it was in my youth, and this shows you how country I am. I used to eat vein of sausages, which are like just random bits of
everything else in
and
the animal.
I know that as an adult though, so I would never eat that shit again. But as a kid, like we get the little can, you open it, and you get some salty crackers and make little sandwiches.
But hot dogs is like the same thing, ain't it?
I think it's like. Cause it ain't the same. Cause have you ever eaten a vein of sausage? It's not the same consistency to me. Like it's like I don't fucking know. I don't know. I wouldn't eat that shit now.
That's a poverty food.
It is. It is a poverty food.
And Spam.
Never ate Spam. I didn't like how it smelled.
It was so nasty.
It wasn't. It smelled.
I mean,
nasty.
No, it was good. I mean, speaking from a poor mouth, it's delicious to a poor mouth. Now at this point where I can go buy a steak right now if I wanted to, it is terrible. But I'm gonna tell you the worst thing about Spam. You used to pull the top off, turn it upside down, and it used to come out with like this gel that's on top of it, and and it just imagine the sound or something. It just used to slop out like a fish or like a wet fish hitting the table. It just used to
Hell
just
no.
splat on the
Hell
table.
no.
Like, oh my goodness.
No.
But you throw that thing in a pan with some butter, you know what I'm saying? Brown over them sides, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you in the game.
I actually think my dad used to eat, like my dad ate a lot of shit that we'd eat. My dad is the kind of person that you don't eat anything he gives to you because you don't know what it is. Like he's very Southern. So he'll hand you something and you'll eat it and you think it's chicken and then you find out it's snapping turtle or some shit. Like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah. So he ate a lot of stuff we didn't eat. So I think I want to did you know, this is completely off the topic, that people eat chicken feet? Did you know that was
Yeah.
a thing? There's no fucking meat. I could not, first of all, they look creepy. They're all pale when they're raw. Like, and there's no meat. And they still have the little nail. It's disgusting.
I've seen that. I seen them in the store.
My dad bought and cooked them. He eats chicken feet.
I mean, it got to be some kind of something. Do you like eat the bones or something? Is it bones?
I don't know. Listen, when I saw the things raw in the pack, I was like, nope. I don't know. I don't even know how he prepared them. Again, my dad's the kind of person you don't eat nothing he cooks because you don't know what it is. It could be anything. It could be chicken feet, stew. I don't know.
I ain't about them struggle meals.
Yeah, and Spam and SpaghettiOs falls into that.
I grew up eating bologna, and
I eat bologna. My bologna has a first name. It's OSCA.
I can't do bologna. I got bologna PTSD.
Yeah, we ate a lot of that.
Like
bologna and egg sandwiches.
When I start to pull the ring off of it, I just have flashbacks, and it's just going to this mode, and I don't know what's happening. And then I realize I'm not finna eat this.
I don't like fried salmon. My mom used to make salmon patties, and then you have
love
syrup
fried
and
salmon.
biscuits. I don't like it now because of her.
Oh,
Because
man.
we used to, because my mom worked at night, and so that was something quick she could do. We ate a lot of fried salmon. So I
still love fried salmon.
patties.
It's delicious.
I'm trying to think of like what we had a lot of that I just will not eat now. I mean, I don't eat like the stuff my mom made us eat, right? As an adult, like my mom loves liver, right? And I thought, maybe because she's old, but I'm older now and I ain't gonna touch no fucking liver. It's disgusting. It tastes like something's liver.
I eat liver. It's oddly interesting at best. It's like interesting enough to take another bite and just keep taking another bite, but you don't know what's making you take the other bite. But it's not necessarily stopping you from taking another bite. I don't know. I can't explain it, but I eat it sometimes.
Never eat liver. I ain't ate liver since I was a child. And like even then, I would get like the smallest piece because she would make us eat it. So I would get the smallest piece that she had made so I wouldn't have to eat much of it. I could not stand liver nights. When I come home and go in the kitchen and see that's what, I was like, shit.
No liver.
Damn.
No liver.
Liver. So I don't eat liver now.
Well, I mean, I don't know what's going on with SpaghettiOs, but I mean, I hope that they got out in front of this early. I mean, we just finding out about this. I hope they got out in front of it when they realized it was a problem. And before people got hurt, I don't know. I don't know the backstory. They kind of try to cover that stuff up. But if you look at Bluebell, they didn't get out in front of it. I think when you get to like stuff like diseases like listeria, it's really hard to get out in front of that because you can't see it. You don't know what's going on until somebody gets sick. Like Hot Pockets, they went bad, and a lot of people got sick from that. Like, I hope SpaghettiOs got out in front of it. If that's the case, then they are more of a responsible corporation than most of these corporations out here as to whether they say, we're not going to waste this money on the front end. We'll just pay lawsuits on the back end because, most of the people won't even be able to afford litigation and blah, 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 blah. I think this is what a lot of corporations do. So I hope SpaghettiOs just got out in front of it and stopped everybody from eating it because they found out, this part is broke, this is going on. You know? But I guess we'll never know.
I was excited about Bluebell because fuck you people who can eat ice cream. So I was very happy that for a while all of the rest of America feels what I feel every day of my life. I was so excited when Bluebell like took it all off the shelves and people were sad. I was like, this is how I've lived 30 years.
But, you know, we just got to go to another delicious ice cream like Talenti. You know what I'm saying?
I can eat Talenti's. That was like the best discovery of 2015. I'm on the Talenti's train. I don't know why I can eat gelato and not regular ice cream, but I'm not going to question Jesus. So that's fine by me. But I still was happy about Bluebell when it went off.
I got you.
Because I'm a hater.
Well, I'm going to go into the last bit of pasta news in this situation.
Shit.
And this is
The most ridiculous shit ever.
Have you ever heard of a pastafarian? If you haven't, I'm going to fill you in. It is a group, an organization called Pastafarians, and they are a part of the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster.
I cannot.
And he got a picture. Go look up the picture of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. Somebody really took some time on the art. But this woman basically petitioned to be able to wear a colander on her head for her license photo, and she won.
And for people who don't know what a colander is, it's basically a bowl with holes.
It's a bowl with holes in it, so when you cook your spaghetti and you run the water on it, the water run off of it and cool it down, and you know you get to eat it deliciously after it's cooled.
She's running around with a bowl on her head, and she wants to be allowed to do this.
Yeah.
Like she's not fucking insane.
I don't think. Okay, let me.
I know the reasoning why she did it.
So the reason that someone like her does this is that they pushing the bounds of the First Amendment. They trying to see if America can truly follow through with what they say the First Amendment is on paper. On paper, it say you have the freedom of religion. And if I have the freedom of religion and I can create any religion, then I should be able to create the religion of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, wear a colander on my head because it's a part of my faith system, and you're not going to question that. And so this group of people are testing those bounds. And I'm sure the very, very first people that started, Pastafarianism, they were doing this as a gag, as a prank, or just to push those boundaries. But as we know, with any faith, with anything that's created, there are people that actually delve into that situation and truly become a part of it. Now, I don't know which one of them this lady is. I don't know if she's really pushing the bounds and trying to see where she can go with the First Amendment.
I hope that's what it is.
Or if she is bonkers.
This bitch is walking around handing over a license with a fucking bowl on her head.
This is potentially something for her to look back on and realize that she is an idiot. It is even if it's for the most well-intentioned reason of pushing boundaries of the First Amendment to see how those freedoms play out for you. I don't know if it's smart still.
It's not.
I
would say no. But that's just the sanity in me fighting her insanity. But I wonder how Rastafarians feel about Pastafarian culture. And
probably high as a kite,
probably.
eating a bowl of pasta.
They probably, yeah. Probably so.
I don't know much about Rastafarianism except that they can smoke weed. I don't know if they can eat pasta.
And they do that
or not.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
But, I mean, I guess, what kind of outroar would Christians be in if some faith named themselves Christians and wore beef around their neck?
Oh my God. They would be in the streets rallying and protesting and this is an abomination and all kind of shit.
So, but it wouldn't be that intense if they were high. So that's probably, Rastafarians are probably not that bothered by the situation. They're just mellow, yeah. Okay. They just chill.
Yeah, real chill. Well, maybe some of these Christians with sticks up their ass need just to smoke a little weed.
Smoke a little weed. When it becomes legal, a bunch of them gonna be smoking weed after the Sunday sermon. Probably gonna buy it from the pastor if you come from where I come from. He gonna know where the plug's at.
Oh, we could do an entire episode on pastors.
It's coming.
It is.
I mean, ain't no way to avoid it. Let's wait till Eddie Long do something crazy.
This nigga, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna hold off on that for that episode
Yeah.
because I have a lot to say.
But that's about all I got for deliberate nonsense. You got anything else on your mind, Red?
I don't. I think that was pretty good, and a good introduction to what this is gonna be.
This is what it's gonna be.
This is it.
Well, until we come to the next conversation,
We out.
holla.